Welcome to Everest Educational Services webinar with Mount Royal University, which is located in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Today, I have with me Morgan Loberg, International Recruitment Officer from Mount Royal University. Thank you, Morgan, for giving us your time to meet today. So maybe we can start with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So thank you for having me. As you mentioned, I'm the International Recruitment Officer for Mount Royal. Along with that, I'm actually a graduate from Mount Royal as well, from the Bachelor of Business Administration program. So I've been very fortunate to come back and work for the university. I've currently been in this role for about 2 years, but at the university for 4. Prior to this, I was working in the UK doing a similar kind of admissions for international students. Part of what I do, I support students in their admission process and work with agents to support them as well, like you guys, to help your students be admitted into any programs at the university.
Wonderful. So maybe can you tell our prospective students a little bit about Calgary, Alberta?
Sure. So Calgary is a city of approximately 1.2 million people with more than 200 ethnic backgrounds represented. We have over 635 kilometers of beautiful paths to walk and cycle, as well as only being just over an hour from the Rocky Mountains, which is amazing. There are also plenty of things to do, like festivals throughout the year, the Calgary Stampede, and then we also have 4 professional sports teams to cheer for.
Wonderful. So what programs are offered by Mount Royal University?
So we offer 12 baccalaureate degree programs. Those are 4 years in length with 35 majors. Now those majors range from business to child studies to communications to science. And then we also have 2 diploma programs that are 2 years in length, one in aviation if somebody's interested in becoming a commercial pilot, and one in social work. Any students who maybe are missing requirements for admission into a program that they're interested in, we have things like the International Pathway Program. The International Pathway Program allows students who have no previous post-secondary study to increase their competitive average, upgrade any high school courses they might be missing, or develop English language proficiency skills while working on courses towards their targeted program.
Great. That's wonderful. So what education would an international student need to get admitted to Mount Royal University?
So when we're talking about education, we're looking for students to meet specific admission requirements as well as general admission requirements. Specific admission requirements for all of our degree and diploma programs are courses specifically from the equivalent to grade 12 in Canada, so 12th year study in India. From there, if a student has prior post-secondary, we'll consider those post-secondary courses to determine if they're a post-secondary applicant. If they aren't, then we go back to the student's high school courses, 12th year courses, to assess their competitiveness, and their overall admission average is determined by MRU. So for example, a student coming from India who's in their final year of high school, 12th year, who's interested in the Bachelor of Computer Science, we would be looking for them to have English with a minimum equivalent to 60%, math with a minimum equivalent to 65% in the Alberta curriculum. Now, what that means for a 12th year student in India, we're looking for them to achieve at least 44% in English and math on their India senior school certificate if they studied through the CBSE, for example. And then we would look at their competitiveness and their final admission average.
Great. What about English language proficiency?
So that's a good question. English language proficiency for any students who don't consider their first language English, we would be looking for them to have an equivalent to academic IELTS, for example, with a 6.5 overall and a 5.5 in each band. TOEFL is another option where they have 86 overall with no minimum score less than 20. There are a few other options as well, but those are the most common ones that we see.
Great. Thanks, Morgan. So what is the application process to apply to Mount Royal?
So students are more than welcome to work with you guys, for example, Everest Educational Services, to apply and make sure that they meet those requirements for their intended program. If they don't, you guys, for example, would support them in finding alternative access routes. Applications are $100, and then if they're admitted into a program, we would ask them to pay a non-refundable, my apologies, deposit of $425. That tuition deposit would then go towards their tuition once they're in class in September.
Wonderful. So what's the cost for a student to study at Mount Royal University? What's my overall cost I'm looking at?
So for tuition fees, we're looking at approximately $22,500 Canadian to $24,250 Canadian for full-time academic year. So what that means is 2 full semesters, so September to December for fall, January to April for winter, taking at least 5 courses each semester. That's what this tuition fee is based on.
Great. So if I'm going to live, an international student living in Calgary, where can I live and how much does it cost to live in Calgary?
That's a great question. So we do have on-campus residences that students are more than welcome to apply for. At MRU, all students who are admitted into a program can apply for residence and are guaranteed a spot in residence if they apply before June 15th of their year they're looking to start. We do have condo townhouse style living where students have their own bedroom. They share a bathroom with one other person, and then they have full kitchen and living room spaces. All of this is fully furnished. And then students would share those common spaces with up to 3 people total. So for a 4-bedroom unit on campus, students are looking at approximately $6,100 per year. So for 2 academic semesters, 8 months total. Now, students are more than welcome to find housing off campus if they prefer to make their own arrangements in the area, but this is definitely an option that lots of first-year students especially like to take.
And your residence, does it have security?
It does, yeah. So we have security services all over campus, including residents, and there are 24-hour security services. So not only do we have on-call residence advisors, or residence advisors
Right.
is what they're called.
Yeah.
For issues that may come up, any emergencies, for example. But then we also do have security services teams on campus as well who patrol all throughout the campus, throughout residence. If students are feeling unsafe, for example, if they're on campus late at night and need to walk back to residence, Security Services Office offers a Safe Walk program where they will walk with the student to residence if that's what they would like.
Great. That's good for parents to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, as an international student in a new country and city, what supports does Mount Royal University supply?
So MRU has the International Student Support Center to help international students transition to life in Calgary and throughout their first year of university. But then we have a whole other range of supports available on campus for students, including academic advising, who support their course registration and their degree planning, writing and learning services, who provide workshops on studying and writing essays. We have wellness services on campus, so doctors and nurses, mental health professionals that students are able to utilize if they ever need that kind of support. And then, of course, like I mentioned, one other one is security services. So we want to make sure that students are safe on our campus and that our campus is safe for sure.
Great. So I'm a student. What are my job opportunities upon completion?
Yeah, so Mount Royal, with our nature of learning, we pride ourselves in providing hands-on learning opportunities like practicum placements in education, to clinical placements in nursing, to other work experience. So that really helps with job opportunities. Almost all of our programs have that experiential learning piece, and 89% of Mount Royal graduates are employed within 2 years of graduation. They have the support of career services to help find those positions available to them. Career services also offers things like resume, workshop building, interview practicing, and then they also provide the MRU student and graduate job bank. So when students are on campus actively studying, students have access to this job bank for summer positions, for example, and then again, when they become an alumni, they have access to that continually moving forward.
Okay, so a job bank would mean that employers are probably advertising that they're looking for certain people.
They are, and we are very fortunate that lots of employers bring those positions to Mount Royal, as well as our career services office seeking out those positions for students to make it easier.
Right. And so if I'm a student and I want to work part-time as a student, what are my opportunities in Calgary for that?
There are a whole range of opportunities. Of course, we'd make sure that we direct the student to like you guys, for example, to make sure they're meeting their work study permit requirements. But there are on-campus options. For example, they could work in recreation services and do reception there, for example, or work in the bookstore. They could also work for some of our food services on campus, just as a bit of an example. And then there's a number of opportunities throughout the city as well. So, for example, they could work for a clothing store part-time that they might be interested in, or they could work for a restaurant part-time if they might be interested in that.
Or a coffee shop.
Or a coffee shop, exactly.
The coffee shops.
Yeah, and there's actually a Starbucks right by Mount Royal that hires lots of students. So they see lots of students work there throughout the year.
Which is great. That's awesome. So, Morgan, is there anything else you would like to add that I have not asked you about?
Yeah, so one important thing for students to consider that I like to mention is the community that they're going to be a part of when they're studying, because that's really important for students' success in their post-secondary studies. At Mount Royal, we have an average class size of 31 students in a class, so students have the opportunity to connect with their peers, their professors, and find support wherever they need. This is likely a change from what they're used to, and we want to make sure that they become comfortable with in-class discussion, because it is a big part of post-secondary study and understanding the material. But this is a big part of what gives students the opportunity to align their passions, open doors, and give them a great experience at Mount Royal.
Great. That sounds wonderful. So, have we got everything? Anything else, Morgan?
One question I usually get that I'm sure you guys get as well is, how long is it going to take for my application to be processed and receive an offer? So we say typically it takes about 2 weeks once we receive a student's application and supporting documents like transcripts, and then we process the offer from there with you guys.
Yeah, that's one thing you guys are really good at, is you're very good at your fast response to international applicants on the offer letter. We appreciate that.
I'm glad to hear that. We work really hard to do that, for sure.
Yeah, and it shows too. So thanks again, Morgan, for this really valuable information. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And for those prospective applicants listening right now, if you are interested in finding out about any more about Mount Royal University, please feel free to contact Everest Educational Services.
Definitely.